Welcome to Hollywood Secrets Information. In this video, we are going to uncover the heartbreaking stories of 15 legendary actors who spent years battling serious illnesses away from the public eye. From Hollywood icons who dominated the silver screen to television stars loved by millions, many of them carried their pain in silence while continuing to entertain audiences around the world. Behind the fame, awards, and unforgettable performances were personal struggles that few people ever knew about. Stay with us as we look back at the lives, careers, and final years of these remarkable stars whose legacies continue to inspire generations. 1. Gary Cooper. Gary Cooper was one of the greatest leading men in Hollywood history. Known for classics such as High Noon, Sergeant York, and The Pride of the Yankees, Cooper became famous for his calm personality and powerful screen presence. Throughout the 1930s, 1940s, and 1950s, he represented courage and integrity, earning millions of fans around the world. However, behind his charming smile, Cooper was facing a devastating battle. In the late 1950s, doctors diagnosed him with prostate cancer, a disease he kept hidden from the public. Despite the painful treatments and the knowledge that his health was declining, Cooper continued to make public appearances and remained optimistic in front of his family and fans. Friends later revealed that Cooper rarely complained about his suffering. Instead, he focused on spending time with loved ones and reflecting on his extraordinary career. In 1961, the Academy Awards honored him with a special tribute, but his illness prevented him from attending the ceremony in person. Actor James Stewart accepted the award on his behalf and delivered an emotional message from his longtime friend. Only weeks later, on May 13, 1961, Gary Cooper passed away at the age of 60. His death shocked Hollywood and marked the end of an era. Even decades later, Cooper's films continue to inspire audiences, proving that true legends never fade away. 2. Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson was one of Hollywood's most recognizable stars. Famous for films such as Pillow Talk, Giant, and Magnificent Obsession, Hudson became a symbol of charm and elegance during the golden age of cinema. With his handsome appearance and charismatic personality, he captured the hearts of millions. In the early 1980s, Hudson began experiencing serious health problems, but few people knew the truth. He had contracted AIDS, a disease that carried enormous stigma at the time. Determined to protect his privacy, Hudson continued working and avoided discussing his condition publicly. As his health deteriorated, rumors spread throughout Hollywood. In 1985, Hudson finally revealed that he was suffering from AIDS, becoming one of the first major celebrities to speak openly about the disease. His announcement changed public perception and brought worldwide attention to a health crisis that had previously been misunderstood. Despite his declining condition, Hudson remained remarkably brave. Friends described him as kind, dignified, and determined until the very end. On October 2, 1985, Rock Hudson died at the age of 59. His death not only devastated fans, but also transformed the conversation surrounding AIDS research and awareness. Today, Rock Hudson is remembered not only as a talented actor, but also as a man whose personal struggle helped millions better understand a deadly disease. 3. Elizabeth Montgomery. Elizabeth Montgomery became a television icon through her unforgettable role as Samantha Stevens in the beloved series Bewitched. Her charm, wit, and warmth made her one of America's favorite actresses, and audiences adored watching her magical adventures on screen. For decades, Montgomery enjoyed tremendous success, but in her final years, she faced a private battle with colon cancer. The diagnosis came suddenly, and only a small circle of family and friends knew how serious her condition truly was. Despite the illness, Montgomery continued to maintain her positive spirit and avoided drawing attention to her suffering. Those close to her later recalled her incredible strength and determination. Even as treatments became more difficult, Montgomery remained focused on her family and the people she loved. She rarely spoke publicly about her pain and chose to spend her final months in peace. In May 1995, doctors informed her that the cancer had spread extensively. Only weeks later, on May 18, 1995, Elizabeth Montgomery passed away at the age of 62. Fans around the world mourned the loss of a woman who had brought joy and laughter into their homes for generations. Today, Montgomery's legacy lives on through reruns of Bewitched, reminding audiences of her extraordinary talent and unforgettable charm. 4. Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen earned the nickname the King of Cool thanks to legendary performances in films such as Bullitt, The Great Escape, and Papillon. His rebellious image and fearless personality turned him into one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Behind the scenes, however, McQueen was facing a dangerous illness. In 1979, doctors diagnosed him with mesothelioma, a rare cancer often linked to asbestos exposure. The diagnosis devastated the actor, but McQueen refused to give up hope. Searching for a cure, he traveled to different countries and pursued alternative treatments. Friends later revealed that McQueen remained determined and optimistic even as his condition worsened. He rarely discussed his fears publicly and continued fighting in silence. Throughout his final months, the actor experienced severe pain, but he remained focused on spending time with family and finding peace. On November 7, 1980, Steve McQueen died at the age of 50. The news shocked fans around the world. Although his life was cut tragically short, McQueen's influence on cinema remains stronger than ever. His films continue to captivate audiences, and his fearless spirit still defines Hollywood cool. 5. Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder brought joy and laughter to millions through unforgettable performances in films such as Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Young Frankenstein, and Blazing Saddles. His unique humor and emotional depth made him one of the most beloved actors of his generation. In his later years, Wilder was quietly battling Alzheimer's disease. For several years, only his closest family members knew about his condition. They chose to keep the diagnosis private because Wilder did not want young fans to associate Willy Wonka with sadness or illness. As the disease progressed, Wilder gradually withdrew from public life. Friends described him as gentle and courageous, even as memory loss became more severe. Despite his struggles, he remained surrounded by the love of his family. In August 2016, Gene Wilder passed away at the age of 83. The news deeply saddened fans, many of whom had no idea that he had been suffering in silence for years. Today, Wilder's magical performances continue to entertain audiences of all ages. His legacy lives on through the laughter, imagination, and kindness he shared with the world. 6. Paul Newman. Paul Newman was much more than a movie star. Known for classics such as Cool Hand Luke, The Sting, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Newman built a reputation as one of Hollywood's finest actors and one of its most generous humanitarians. In 2007, reports began to emerge that Newman was suffering from lung cancer. Although speculation surrounded his health, the actor remained intensely private and avoided discussing his illness publicly. Even as his condition worsened, Newman continued to focus on charity work and spending time with his family. Those closest to him admired his courage and dignity. He rarely complained and faced his illness with the same determination that had defined his entire life and career. Throughout his final months, Newman preferred to remain at home, surrounded by loved ones. On September 26, 2008, Paul Newman passed away at the age of 83. Tributes poured in from around the world as fans remembered not only his legendary performances, but also his generosity and compassion. Even today, Newman remains an icon whose influence extends far beyond Hollywood. His films and charitable legacy continue to inspire millions. 7. Raymond Burr. Raymond Burr became a household name through his unforgettable performances in television classics such as Perry Mason and Ironside. For decades, audiences admired his commanding voice, powerful screen presence, and ability to portray characters with intelligence and authority. Behind the scenes, however, Burr faced numerous health challenges that he rarely discussed publicly. Throughout his later years, the actor suffered from kidney cancer and other serious medical complications. Despite enduring pain and multiple treatments, Burr continued working and remained dedicated to his craft. Friends and colleagues often described him as a private man who preferred to keep his personal struggles away from the spotlight. Even as his health declined, Burr maintained his passion for acting and spent much of his time with close friends and family. He rarely allowed his illness to affect his public image, choosing instead to focus on the work that had defined his remarkable career. On September 12, 1993, Raymond Burr passed away at the age of 76. Fans around the world mourned the loss of a television legend whose performances continue to captivate audiences decades later. His legacy lives on through the unforgettable characters he brought to life. 8. Jerry Orbach. Jerry Orbach was one of television's most beloved actors, best known for his role as Detective Lenny Briscoe in Law and Order. Long before becoming a television icon, Orbach had already enjoyed a successful career on Broadway and in Hollywood, earning praise for his versatility and charisma. In the early 2000s, Orbach was privately battling prostate cancer. Despite his diagnosis, he continued working and remained committed to his fans. Few people realized how serious his condition had become, as the actor rarely spoke publicly about his health struggles. Those who worked alongside him admired his strength and professionalism. Even during difficult treatments, Orbach maintained his trademark humor and determination. His dedication to his craft never faded, and he continued performing for as long as possible. On December 28, 2004, Jerry Orbach passed away at the age of 69. The entertainment world lost not only a gifted actor, but also a man known for his kindness and generosity. Today, his performances continue to entertain millions around the globe. 9. Telly Savalas. Telly Savalas became famous for his unforgettable role as Lieutenant Theo Kojak in the hit television series Kojak. With his bald head, deep voice, and signature catchphrase, Savalas became one of the most recognizable stars of the 1970s. Behind his tough image, Savalas was fighting a difficult battle with bladder cancer. Although he remained active and continued appearing in films and television projects, his health gradually deteriorated. The actor kept much of his suffering private, choosing to spend his remaining time with his family. Friends later recalled that Savalas remained optimistic despite the challenges he faced. He continued to enjoy life and maintained his strong sense of humor even during painful treatments. His courage inspired those around him. On January 22, 1994, Telly Savalas passed away at the age of 72. Fans everywhere remembered him as a charismatic performer whose larger-than-life personality left a lasting mark on Hollywood history. 10. Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn remains one of the most elegant and beloved actresses in cinema history. From Breakfast at Tiffany's to Roman Holiday, Hepburn captivated audiences with her beauty, grace, and talent. Beyond acting, she dedicated much of her later life to humanitarian work, helping children around the world. In the early 1990s, Hepburn was diagnosed with a rare form of abdominal cancer. Despite undergoing surgery and treatment, she continued focusing on the humanitarian causes that meant so much to her. Only a small circle of friends and family understood the severity of her illness. Even during her final months, Hepburn remained positive and compassionate. She spent precious time with her loved ones and reflected on a life filled with extraordinary achievements and unforgettable memories. On January 20th, 1993, Audrey Hepburn passed away at the age of 63. Her death saddened millions, but her legacy continues through both her timeless films and her humanitarian efforts. 11. Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman was unlike any entertainer Hollywood had ever seen. Known for his unpredictable comedy and unique performances, Kaufman challenged audiences and redefined what it meant to be a comedian. Whether performing on stage or starring in Taxi, he constantly surprised the world. In 1983, Kaufman was diagnosed with a rare form of lung cancer, despite never being a smoker. The news shocked his family and friends. Refusing to give up, Kaufman searched for alternative treatments around the world, hoping to overcome the disease. Although his health continued to decline, Kaufman remained hopeful and determined. He rarely discussed his fears publicly and tried to maintain his sense of humor even in the face of unimaginable hardship. On May 16, 1984, Andy Kaufman passed away at the age of 35. His death was a tragic loss for the entertainment industry, but his groundbreaking comedy continues to influence performers to this day. 12. Chuck Connors. Chuck Connors was an actor and athlete best known for his role in the television series The Rifleman. Before entering Hollywood, Connors enjoyed professional careers in both baseball and basketball, making him one of the few athletes to excel in multiple sports. In his later years, Connors battled lung cancer. Despite facing serious health problems, he remained active and continued making public appearances whenever possible. He rarely spoke about his suffering, preferring to focus on the positive moments in his life. Friends described Connors as resilient and determined. Even as his condition worsened, he remained devoted to his family and appreciated the support of his fans. His courage during his final years left a lasting impression on those who knew him. On November 10, 1992, Chuck Connors passed away at the age of 71. Today, he is remembered as both a talented actor and an accomplished athlete whose legacy lives on. 13. Raul Julia. Raul Julia was one of Hollywood's most talented and versatile performers. Best known for films such as The Addams Family and Kiss of the Spider-Woman, Julia brought passion and energy to every role he played. In the early 1990s, Julia began experiencing serious health problems following complications from food poisoning and a stroke. Despite his declining condition, he continued working and remained committed to his craft. Few people realized the extent of his suffering. Even while facing physical challenges, Julia delivered memorable performances and maintained his optimism. His dedication to acting inspired everyone who worked with him. On October 24, 1994, Raul Julia passed away at the age of 54. His death shocked Hollywood, but his unforgettable performances continue to entertain audiences around the world. 14. Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman was celebrated for his unforgettable performances in films such as Die Hard, Sense and Sensibility, and the Harry Potter series. Known for his distinctive voice and remarkable talent, Rickman became one of Britain's most respected actors. In 2015, Rickman was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, but he chose to keep his illness private. Only his closest friends and family knew about his condition. Despite the diagnosis, Rickman continued working and maintained his usual warmth and professionalism. Colleagues later recalled his incredible courage and generosity. Even while dealing with serious health problems, Rickman remained dedicated to his art and supportive of those around him. On January 14, 2016, Alan Rickman passed away at the age of 69. Fans across the world mourn the loss of a remarkable actor whose performances continue to inspire new generations. 15. Norm Macdonald. Norm Macdonald was famous for his sharp wit and unique sense of humor. From Saturday Night Live to his stand-up performances, Macdonald became one of comedy's most respected voices. For nearly a decade, Norm quietly battled cancer, keeping his diagnosis hidden from the public and even from many close friends. He chose not to share his struggle because he did not want his illness to define him or affect the way audiences viewed his comedy. Despite years of treatment, Macdonald continued performing and entertaining millions with his distinctive style. Those who knew him admired his strength and determination throughout his long battle. On September 14, 2021, Norm Macdonald passed away at the age of 61. Fans around the world were shocked to learn that he had been suffering in silence for so many years. His comedy and unforgettable personality continue to live on. The stories of these legendary actors remind us that behind the fame, success, and unforgettable performances were real people facing battles that the world rarely saw. Although they suffered in silence, their courage, talent, and dedication left a permanent mark on Hollywood history. Their movies and television shows continue to inspire millions of fans across generations. Thank you for watching Hollywood Secrets Information. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories from the world of Hollywood. Which actor's story touched you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.